Hey fast fellas, this is our run here. If you guys want to go ahead and use this configuration, feel free to check it out. With the settle right here, we actually have the potential to move over one tile, which we're going to do right now, and settle a nice city for that particular area. Let's settle Tokyo. There we go. So as you can see, that's going to be a +4 nice little campus there. That'll really get us going. So we've got ourselves a nice 5 city set up here. That'll really get us going for the mid game. What we want to do is settle another city here. This will be our second city. Our scout is here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move them eastbound. Let's go ahead and get that early tempo for culture. We want to do that just a little bit so we can get our early development going. Once we have that running, we'll be in a better spot. And who is that? It's Tamiris. Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that. We want to actually make sure she does not know where our capital is, and she's going to have to find it the hard way. I'll put a defense icon there just in case, so we know areas that we might have to defend against. That's also good to know. I just happened to notice that. Look at that little meteor strike right there. So it actually happened to be a meteor strike. So if we ever have to have a military issue, we could send a scout that way and potentially get ourselves a nice cavalry unit of some kind. That could help us. So I've seen enough to know that this area is of course going to be heavily inhabited. Now that we know enough, we don't have to overexplore it or anything like that. That's not going to benefit us. What we should do is just get a perimeter. See, as we can see here, settling another city. And we could block them to go to a different direction, and that could be beneficial for us. Excellent. So we have ourselves a nice monument. That's going to give us a nice boost to our potential output here for culture. So I think the biggest priority is getting a builder up and running. Strictly because, once we have this mining done, what we can actually do is we can really develop a very, very strong campus. And that is going to play very, very well into our overall gameplay here. We are going to take Discipline and God King. We will keep God King on until we get our first Pantheon, then we'll take that off and then put on Urban Planning. Who's that? Geneva. Oh man, that is actually the best city-state we could have found. Wow, that plays perfectly for our run. As we can see here, cities earn 15% more science whenever you are not at war. And for an isolationist type of game, this is exactly what we're looking for. Total lives, we are of course going to go for the early trade routes. We absolutely want to be getting trade routes early on. And we met Buenos Aires. Interesting. This is actually not a bad one to keep our peoples happy. This may be one we want to consider, especially if we're going to be building up our population fairly quickly this run. This might actually help us. Good. So we can go ahead and chop that. That'll save us a few turns of development. That's perfect. So let's actually go southwest there. And here, let's get some more information along this route here. This mountain path is of course going to be blocking us off, so let's kind of go with the flow here. What I think may play well into our early game for the science setup is let's actually go for a nice little production focus. That'll be a nice powerful setup for us to go into. We met Zanzibar, and we were the first to meet them. That's even better. Excellent. We are now really in a better position economically as well. Time to settle this next city here. And immediately what we're going to do is get ourselves a trader purchase. And that'll be really nice for us. Let's immediately start attacking them. And I would say it's time that we actually get in control of the opponents around us. So let's get a little military going. Just a few ranged units, but that'll really protect us with all of those barbarians. Because they're going for my capital, we're actually in a better position. We're doing just safely there. Finally, we have ourselves a Pantheon, so let's actually take a look and see what makes the most sense for us. City Patron Goddess here is going to play well into our actual setup, so let's actually go for that. Let's immediately start doing some heavy damage on them. There we go. Now we can one-shot that. Good, and got bronze working boost as well. 8 turns away from the next era, no problem. Interesting, and there's a religious city-state as well. Immediately focus on repairing that. Good, we can actually get to 6 population in a decent time. Let's pick that up. That'll actually save us a nice little bit of tempo as well. Now, what I will mention, isolationism, this particular one, will be very good once we have the settled cities that we want. Once we have another few more cities, that's going to be immediately plugged in, and then we can really amplify the value of all of our trade routes. So we have the potential to actually go for a war here. We are left with the choice here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the option to go for a potential war and try to take that settler and then settle east here. That'll be a nice thing for us to set up, and we could get aggressive in the early game for that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. In the bottom left part of the screen, we're going to have our most recent video here, that is of our Byzantium run. Feel free to check that one out too. Thank you guys so much for watching. SpeeDMan out.